Hello. There is a brand new role-playing game set in the Warhammer world, and it is out very soon. Whether you have been looking forward to the release of the old world RPG as much as I have, you're a veteran WFRP player intrigued by this new game, or you have never played a role-playing game in your life, this video is for you. I am going to go through everything you need to know to get started with the old world role-playing game on day one. And you will have the chance to win your own copy of the game right now. The Old World RPG is a brand new pen and paper role-playing game published by Cubicle 7, set in the current version of the Warhammer fantasy world. The game has been designed from the ground up to honour the previous Warhammer role-playing games and to match the look and feel of the current miniature war game. It is also pitched as a more accessible entry point for new players into the world of Warhammer, whilst retaining enough mechanical depth to be enjoyable for long-time gamers. As Cubicle 7 explain it, in this dark and bloody age, bold deeds and great courage are called for. You have chosen to take up a hopeless fight, to stand when the coward would flee and the wise would kneel. You must oppose the swelling tide of strife and war, of flame and fury, or be smothered by it. Let others wallow in their false peace. Let them hate you trying to drag them from it. For if you are skilled and lucky, if you choose worthy allies, take up stalwart arms, or master perilous magics, you may even live to see your grim work done. There are a few reasons that I am super excited about this game. One of them is that I just love the Warhammer world, so finding new ways to explore it and play in it, that is something I adore. And the Old World Miniatures game is really fantastically interesting to me, so seeing the lore behind it and the world it's set in explored even more, that is a huge win. And there's another reason that's got me very excited about the game, and that's because I had the opportunity to contribute just a little bit of writing to it, helping to populate this world for a new generation of adventurers. I cannot wait to get into it. The Old World actually refers to a couple of things. Firstly, it is the name of Games Workshop's current fantasy battle miniatures game that takes place in the Warhammer setting. Warhammer the Old World is the game of fantasy battles. It is a game unlike any other, in which you command mighty armies of painted citadel miniatures, relying upon your own tactical ingenuity to achieve victory on the battlefield. The role-playing game is designed for players to explore beyond the battlefield. What's taking place in the towns and cities, the palaces and mercantile exchanges, the back alleys and the beer halls in the land known as the Old World. And that is the second meaning. The Old World is the name of the continent on which most of the action takes place. It is inspired by European history, folklore, legend, and fantasy storytelling, and it is home to some fascinating peoples. There's the human kingdom of Bretonnia, a nation of noble knights that has as much in common with medieval France as it does with Arthurian legend. In the forests of the Old World, there are secretive wood elves who fight to defend nature, as well as the grotesquely mutated beastmen, known as the Children of Chaos. These half-man, half-goat creatures are savage enemies of all that is good. There are countless tribes of orcs and goblins in the Old World, and the occasional presence of the supernatural undead. There are mighty stone holds of the stoic, headstrong dwarfs, and outposts of the elegant, arrogant high elves. And at the very heart of the Old World, there is the Empire of Man. This was a once mighty, united force for good in Warhammer's world, but it has long since fallen from grace into political anarchy and civil war. At the time of the Old World RPG, the Empire is riven with political discord, with as many as 4 different claimants to the Emperor's throne. The people and provinces of this land are torn between those pretenders, and whilst there is still trade and travel across the Empire's lands, there is also a great deal of distrust and danger. If you're not that familiar with role-playing, you may not have heard of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, sometimes called WFRP, that is also published by Cubicle 7. That game came out in 1986, and it is a classic. It's now in its 4th edition, and it has been one of the best ways to explore the dark and grubby corners of the Warhammer world. WFRP continues to receive support from Cubicle 7, and there are plenty more releases on the way. So there may be a question in your mind as to why there is a second role-playing game set in the Warhammer Fantasy world. Simply put, they offer different things. WFRP is an incredible game, an incredible experience, and it has a rich and complex world, a background that has been explored for 40 years, but that has been well explored. There is an opportunity here to tackle the Warhammer world from a new perspective, an era when things are not quite so set in stone, and that things taken for granted might not be quite what one expects. The Old World RPG is tackling the world in a brand new way. The Old World RPG takes place 200 years before the classic Warhammer setting, a grim and glorious time when the Empire is divided, magic is not trusted, and the Cult of Sigmar feels like more of a threat than the cults of chaos. A golden age is just passing, and the people who have lived well will soon discover that the world is about to change. The rules for WFRP are crunchy and magnificent, but they're not always the easiest for new or even old players to get their head around. The Old World has been designed to be a more accessible route into role-playing in Warhammer. Characters have fewer statistics, with a lower average range. The average stat is just 3, and success is determined using a D10 dice pool instead of WFRP's percentage-based rolls. Similarly, there are new systems for careers and fate and magic that have been built from scratch, that have been designed to allow players to explore exciting and interesting gameplay in a way different to WFRP that still honours that tradition. In my opinion, the Old World RPG presents a new way to explore the Warhammer world, an accessible way to bring new players into a setting that I absolutely love. It doesn't replace WFRP, but it does allow me to bring new players to the table, those who might never have played a role-playing game before, or who might not know anything about the Warhammer Fantasy universe but have seen the Old World game. They might have played D&D 5th edition or other current role-playing games and want to make that leap into another game without the crunchy and complex systems that can sometimes hold people back. I think the Old World RPG presents the opportunity to get into Warhammer's setting in a brand new, exciting way, and I have got some fantastic ideas for exactly how I'm going to do that. The principal starting location for the Old World RPG is a place that hasn't been explored that much in previous games, the town of Talagad, a bustling and shockingly corrupt port that serves the great city of Talabheim. Talabheim is home to one of the 4 emperors of this age, Duke Ludwig XII, and it is nestled in the centre of a huge crater that protects it on all sides. With few entrances into the capital, Talagad, which sits just outside the crater wall and on the banks of a mighty river, has become the essential waypoint through which all goods and people must flow. In character creation, you build a web of contacts, allies, and conspirators who deepen your connection to the town. Your character might be a halfling thief out to steal what they can from the corrupt merchants of the port, or a dwarf brew guard charged with keeping the peace between Man and Dawi in the bawdy taverns. You could play a Bretonnian knight exile, or a travelling high elf shadow warrior, a wood elf wild ranger, or perhaps a rare human witch or wizard. Whoever you choose to play, your character has glimpsed the coming darkness, and that darkness has stared right back at them. Cubicle 7 have just announced the pre-order launch for the game, so you can follow my referral link in the description below if you want to go and order your copy right now. There is a player's guide that includes everything you need to make characters and start playing the game. There is also a Games Master's guide that gives GMs a load of advice on how to run the game, populate it with enemies and allies and adversaries, and it is full of loads of other neat stuff about the setting of the old world. It is a really cool book, and I don't say that just because I wrote a little bit of it. I might be biased, but genuinely I think it looks amazing. There are also a load of accessories like a dice set, maps of the old world and the main setting areas, character sheets, and a host of handy reference cards for things like enemies and magic spells. And if you would like the chance to win PDF copies of both the Player's Guide and the Games Master's Guide, and a collector's edition of the Player's Guide in physical form when it is released, then you are speaking to the right person. Cubicle 7 have very generously given me all of those prizes to give away. And all you need to do to be in with a chance of winning them is go to my Patreon and answer a very simple question. And then there will be a random draw from the correct answers. It is totally free to enter. You do not need to become a paid Patreon supporter in order to win. If you happen to go to the Patreon and like what you see and do want to become a paid supporter and help me continue to make videos for the Jordan Sorcery channel, then I would be very, very grateful. It won't increase your chances of winning, but it will help keep me on the air, so I will thank you for that. If you are going to give the Old World RPG a go, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. What are you most excited about? What are you looking forward to exploring the most? And where do you think you're going to take your campaign? I cannot wait. I'm hoping to make a lot of content about the game over the coming months, including some lore for the game and for the world, for the Old World setting. I think it's awesome and I can't wait to explore it and share more about it. And if you would like to see more specific videos like rules or specific corners of the world explored in lore videos, let me know about that in the comments below as well. Thank you once again to Cubicle 7 for providing those amazing prizes. Thank you for watching. I'm Jordan and this is Jordan Sorcery.